In this video, we're installing this flooring. We're going to go over as many details as possible, as quickly as possible, including how to square it up in a room, how to lay it out, get it started, how to go around the door jambs and make it look so it's nice and crisp and clean, and how to click it and everything. Anyways, watch. This is the brand that I installed. Two things, or a couple things to consider. One, if you're going anywhere where there's water, you need it waterproof. Mine's going in the kitchen, and later we're going to actually be running it in the bathroom, but we got to pull out some tile first. Another thing is this one has pre-attached underlayment, and a lot of them do, but if you're not going to get the pre-attached underlayment, then you need to consider that, because it's going to be 25 cents or 50 cents a square foot to put underlayment down first, and I would definitely recommend that. It'll make your floor feel a lot better. The last thing to consider is how thick you want the flooring, because you don't want this door to be dragging too hard on the flooring if you get too thick of flooring. In my case, I needed really thin stuff. You can see this side has a groove on the top of it. You go over to this side of it, you get a very close-up view of the corresponding groove, as well as the next piece that's connected into it. So this should make a little more sense about how this whole operation works. To start out, we need to find out what square was. We measured this wall off of that wall, and it's actually pretty parallel with each other. However, the further we go this way, it actually bulges in the middle like this, and it bulges to the point that we can't hide it with the baseboard later. So we're gonna have to actually solve this. So we snapped a reference line, which was about 3/8 of an inch fatter than the width of the flooring, out past the wall, so that way we know that's a straight line, and it gives us something to go off of. After doing this, even though it's 3/8 of an inch wider than the piece, we actually have this discrepancy right here. So that's what we need to basically remove. We're gonna have to either notch the wall to slide this under the drywall a little bit, or in the case of this door in the center of the wall, friggin' kids. We're gonna, what was I doing? I forgot my train of thought. We're gonna have to notch it around this threshold, because there's gonna be no way to hide this. We can't hide it under the drywall because you're just gonna see it. And so we're gonna do that and probably put a bead of brown caulk to match that. Okay, we got that in. You can see how it kind of comes in and out of the wall a little bit. That's because of how good our drywall is. Any version of these floorings is going to have a bigger underneath side sticking out and then a really small one. It's generally easier to go if you have the bigger one sticking out. That way you can clip it in. And then this is a bigger one too. You can see it's thicker here than it is on these opposite ends. It's easier if you lay down this piece first, and you can click it and slide it in. It's possible the other way, but it's just a little more tricky. So you have to go at an angle, and then you slide that end in, and then slide it down as far as you can towards the other piece. And then you get it, there'll still be a gap, but then you have to lift it up in order to slide it in, kind of wiggle it a little bit, go all the way down the piece, and then it'll lay flat. If it doesn't kind of lay flat by itself, then don't force it in, because these edges are really kind of fragile, so they'll break if you force them down. For 90-degree cuts, I find it useful to saw cut, like with a hand saw is what I've been doing this way. And then for this product, you can just score it with a razor and snap it. If it's a thicker product or an MDF product, then you would want to cut that with a skill saw, just skill saw. But anyways, that's what I'm doing. For doorways, you want to take your measurements off of the door jamb without the trim, and then you can come in and you can scribe a line, go about 1/8 of an inch, because what you're going to want to do is caulk around this whole thing so it can expand and contract independently from the door jamb. But you want to caulk, or you want to cut 1/8 of an inch wide here, and then 1/8 of an inch here everywhere, so that when you push it in, it will all be about like this. By the time you caulk that with some dark or some brown color matching caulk, then it'll be perfect and allow for this to expand and contract, and it'll look good. The junk still on the floor.